Hey guys, it's Keegan. Welcome to your latest reading with me. I wanted to talk to you guys for just a moment at the beginning about a couple of things. First thing is that during the month of May, I'm going to be doing weekly readings. And so this is the first round of 4 that you'll get from me during the month of May. I'm going to be taking a look at different things each week, and I'm inviting you to leave me suggestions or requests in the comments of these videos, letting me know what you would like for me to do for the second, third, and fourth weeks of this month. To kick things off in May, I decided to take a look at what is blocking you and take a look at energetically what's blocking you, use tarot to get more insight into that. And then beyond that, for the second, third, and fourth weeks, I'm really open to suggestions and requests from you guys. So please do let me know what you'd like to see me do. Before we move into the reading, I also want to let you know that I have a website now. I'm super excited to let you guys know this. It's keagankirk.com. I'll put all the information about the website below in the description box so you can check that out. And it's very exciting to me to have this officially launched. It's something that I've been working on for several months now. You can go there, keagankirk.com right now. I have created a special gift for you guys that you can get just by signing up on the website. And then when you scroll right below that, you will see a section where you can book personal readings with me. This has been by far one of the biggest requests that I've gotten from people, is to make the process of booking personal readings with me easier. And that is now possible. If you go to my website, you can select the type of tarot reading that you want with me. There are 3 types there. You can do a 30-minute or a 60-minute recorded session, which means I pre-record that on my own and send you the link. And I'm offering something that is pretty new, which is a live one-on-one session with me, which is 60 minutes. That means that you and I have a set date and time where we will connect live one-on-one. You can ask me questions as we're going through the reading. You can ask me to clarify specific things. You are much more in control of that reading in terms of where it goes, what we focus on, and all of that is available on the website. Again, I'm super excited about that, and I just wanted to share with you the excitement and share you some imagery of the website here at the beginning of the videos before diving into the actual reading. I will be sharing a special code at some point during the reading that will give you 30% off during the month of May for personal reading. So be sure that you watch the video through so that you can get that discount code. And again, thank you so much just for all the support, all the views, everything that you guys have done, all the positive feedback and comments, emails checking in on me and things, you know. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate you and how much I'm looking forward to growing this channel and this community with you. And please do take a moment to check out the website and let me know what you think. Okay, let's move into your reading. Okay, Taurus, what is going on with you guys exactly? As you can see, I have 3 cards that are already out. These are from the Osho Zen Tarot deck. I'm utilizing these cards in this particular style of reading, mostly as a way for me to tap into my own intuition, to get intuitive messages that are coming through for you guys. But these cards are really intense. And so what I've done with the other readings that I've filmed so far for the other signs that I've already recorded is, I've talked about each card kind of individually as being, distinct blocks that might be getting in your way. But Taurus, I have to tell you, these cards really feel like they're telling me one story, one big story about what you're going through. So I'm going to talk to you about each of the cards just individually, fairly briefly, and then just talk to you about what energy is coming forward from these. I want to just point out, so from this deck, you have Beyond Illusion, Integration, and Existence. And this would be equivalent in a normal tarot deck to the Judgment card, Temperance, and the Magician. So lots of big energy that is showing up here for you. And since this reading is about kind of what's getting in your way and what's blocking you from being able to really step forward, I would imagine that if this is going to resonate with you, you really feel extremely stuck. You feel like no matter how much you're putting into something or how much you are trying to break through or get over something, get around something, move on from something, whatever it is that you're trying to do, you probably feel like there's so much resistance that's getting in your way. And so if that's where you're at, if that makes sense to you, that feeling of just like, there's nothing I can do to manage to break myself out of this and get myself going, I feel like there's way more against me than there is supporting me, then you definitely need to listen to this reading, because I hate to say it this way so bluntly at the beginning, but really, like, you are really the only thing that's getting in your own way here, right? And that's usually the case. But in this particular situation, there's so much that you can do that can allow you to start to feel a little bit more supported. So let's talk about these cards, and then I'm trying to resist just going right into the energy that I'm already picking up for you guys, because I do want to talk about the cards a little bit. Okay, so beyond illusion here, I'll just show you the card so you can see it. With this particular card, this is one of those situations where any sort of judgment that's going on, any sort of like gut reaction to something, any sort of like listening to other people's opinions, or really having like a skeptical, doubtful sort of mindset is kind of what's coming through just from this one card on its own. The Beyond Illusion card really encourages you to start to question things, to look at things that you really kind of have set as like your default, right? So if you look at something, or you look at someone, or you look at a behavior, and automatically you just sort of label it as like good or bad. Like there's no middle ground, right? It's a situation where it feels to me like the energy coming from this particular card is really about like either like snap decisions that aren't really based on like you tuning into your intuition. It's based more on like how your mind works, or belief sets that you have, things that you believe to be true, just because maybe you had an experience once and you just sort of set that as your default. I'm getting a little bit of like imagery here that I want to talk about. And this isn't at all me saying like this exact thing happened to you, but they're showing me something that I think will help to illustrate the point that I'm making, right? So if you take two people, let's say two kids, and they have very similar lives, but then at one point, this kid gets like attacked by a dog and bitten, and this kid has a pet dog that they love, right? From that point, because of that experience, this kid is most likely to think dogs are dangerous, dogs are scary, I don't want to be around them, and this kid never develops that fear, right? Now, just because of the experience, it doesn't mean either kid is right or wrong, right? It depends on the dog. So my guides are utilizing that to help me explain kind of what I'm picking up on. You have beliefs that are formed based on your pain, based on your trauma, based on your disappointments, based on your sadness. Just like you have beliefs that are formed from things that make you happy, things that worked out in your favor, things that brought a lot of joy into your life. But those things are not necessarily facts. They're not necessarily truth. They're your experience forming thought patterns and beliefs in your own mind. This card is really encouraging you to question those things, right? Is this behavior that I've labeled as being acceptable, is it actually acceptable? Is this a dynamic that goes on between me and this other person that I've just accepted because that's the way they are? If I really take a step back and ask myself, am I actually okay being treated this way? Am I actually okay with the way that this person is? That it might not feel the same to you, right? So when I say this is like snap decisions, or like judgments that you're making, you might not even be aware of them, right? Because so much of what we do, we don't necessarily think our way through it. Sometimes we make decisions, or we formulate opinions on things in the same way that, like, we breathe during the day. It's almost like we're on autopilot and we're not even aware that we're doing it. And that's true for everyone on the planet, unless you're really doing a lot to keep yourself very much in the present, very mindful of what's happening around you, how you're reacting to it, how you're feeling, questioning why you're feeling certain ways. Okay, but this is something that I can just sense is really getting in your way. And again, like, Taurus, don't feel like I'm judging you, because I feel like a lot of you, it's operating like below the surface, or like hidden from your mind. And so what's coming through is not necessarily like you're making bad decisions. It just feels like you're allowing your mind to just default to either like a positive or a negative about everything. And that sort of like black and white thinking, it doesn't work when you're trying to make decisions that are, especially if you're trying to be guided by your own intuition or intuitive messages that are coming through, because that requires you to really be able to interpret those messages and look for the deeper meaning and ask yourself, questions that allow you to get more and more insight coming in. It can't be something, it's like having a conversation with someone and you're only asking them yes or no questions. You're not going to have an actual conversation. So with the universe, it's very similar. You have to be able to know how to communicate with the universe in ways that allow you to get more and more information that's coming into you through your intuition. And this is very much just like either or. Yes or no, good or bad. You have to look beyond that. You have to really allow yourself to see that with people, with situations, with yourself, there's a huge spectrum between good and bad. There's a huge spectrum between right and wrong. There's a huge spectrum between everything. You know, the notion of binary, it's not something that really exists. And I'm going to move into this a little bit here with the integration card because, you know, as I mentioned, it's similar to like the energy of the Temperance card. But with integration, it's really about integrating it's integrating things within ourselves so that we can begin to understand ourselves more deeply and more accurately. I don't feel in your energy, Taurus, that you're very at peace with things. I sense very much that you feel very much like things are out of control or out of your control. Meaning it might not seem like your life is falling apart, but it doesn't also feel like you have a lot of say right now in how your life is going. And again, I'm tapping into your energy, your thoughts, your feelings. I'm not saying that that's true because for me, if I pull out of your feelings and I'm looking at you as an observer, looking at your actual energy, there is a lot of opportunity. There are a lot of decisions around you that are there, choices that are there that you can make decisions about. But if I go inside of you and I tune into your energy, you feel very stuck. You feel very limited. You feel like you don't have any avenues or paths forward. They're showing me a chessboard where someone, you know, is in check and they're trying to see if there's a way to escape it. And if you pull back and you're not focused on, you know, just this one thing that's going on the board, if you pull back, then you see that you still have moves that you can make, but you're not seeing those. You feel like, okay, you know what, this is actually a checkmate situation. Like there's nothing left for me to do. I can't remove myself from where I'm at. They're saying to me that okay, so Taurus, I'm going to try to explain what they're showing me here. It's almost like you have you, right? If I could draw like a little circle here. This is you, inside how you feel like you actually are, right? And then outside of that circle, there's another circle they're showing me, and they're saying this is what you show other people. And that circle, it's like each person who's trying to interact with you is being shown something different. And this isn't a situation, Taurus, where you're doing this on purpose. It's not like you're trying to be shady or manipulative. You're not trying to trick people. It's not like you are, it's not a deliberate thing. Again, so much of what I'm sensing here, it feels like you are almost like I'm going to use the term like asleep at the wheel, but it's not really, that's not the best analogy. Taurus, you're doing a lot right now with your intention and your emotions that is actually causing you to manifest and create a lot of things. But because of how you're limiting things to either like yes or no, one or two, you're not leaving any room for other things to come through that aren't option A or option B, right? But you're whipping up all of this like intentional, creative, manifesting sort of energy from within yourself. And so you're constantly putting yourselves in situations where it's either like they're saying like they keep repeating like do or die. So don't put yourselves in situations where you only give yourself like option A, option B. Because what's happening, Taurus, and again, I don't think you're even aware of this. I really hope that this reaches people that need to hear this, because what you're doing is you're giving yourself like an ultimate best case scenario and a worst case scenario. Okay, so it would be like waking up every morning. I don't know if this is the best analogy, but I'm going to go with it. And if anyone, I just want to say this, okay? So if anyone has recently lost someone, I'm not making fun of this, okay? But this is the best way for me to describe what I'm getting energetically. It's like if you wake up every morning and you say, okay, well, today I'm either going to make it through the day or I'm going to die. It's that sort of like extreme, with this integration, like I'm feeling just like they're extremes. So it's not only just you're presenting things to people and you're never really showing people who you truly are. I feel like each of those little circles that I talked about contains a little bit of truth about you. But I also feel like you don't really even know what's, like the you that you feel, it feels very small to me. There are only certain things that I feel you really know are true about you. And everything else feels like it's unsettled. But this is very hard to try to explain verbally because it's layered. That's what I'm saying. There's so much going on here with all these cards being like major energy cards that I'm trying to peel back layers so you can understand what's going on here. Bear with me, stay with me, because I'm going to be able to explain this to you guys, I promise, okay? You have this idea of who you are, right? And when I say it feels small, I'm saying it feels small because there's so many things that you haven't yet decided about yourself. But your decision making is this like on-off switch, right? So you're not allowing yourself to have anything in terms of defining who you are other than these like opposition things, right? So you're either good or you're bad. You have to allow for there to be room where sometimes you're really good and sometimes there might be places where you're bad. That's true for everyone. Everyone has light and dark. Everyone has things that are strengths and they have weaknesses. They have things that they're really, really good at, things they're really, really bad at, and then a whole range of things in between that of varying degrees of where they've made progress. But you're not giving yourself that grace. Like that's what I see in this middle, this grace, right? Where you're okay with things being maybe a work in progress, or you're okay looking at things and saying, wow, you know what? I'm really leaning more into like lower vibrational behavior here than maybe I want to. And I'm going to try to do what I can to raise my vibration, to break out of some of those behaviors. It's almost like when you realize, okay, I'm operating in a low vibration and you can't figure out how to suddenly like flip a switch so that you suddenly are in higher vibration, then you just default to saying you're low vibration. You've given up on areas for growth and areas for expansion and areas for opportunity because you've gotten yourself stuck in this either or type of thinking. Okay, hopefully that made sense. I've already talked about this a little bit, but with this existence card over here, again, this is similar to energy of like the magician. And I sense that you are very powerful at manifesting. You're very powerful at creating the things that you want to create. But because there's this issue with this beyond illusion type of thinking and fully integrating things into who you are and how you think, you're only allowing yourself for these possibilities where you either succeed or you fail. And there has to be room for you to have, again, it's grace. You have to give yourself grace. And understand that the biggest part of this journey for you, Taurus, is understanding that sometimes you fall, sometimes you fail, sometimes things don't go the way that they're supposed to. But within those moments, there's opportunity for you to learn. There's opportunity for you to grow. There's opportunity for you to understand yourself and to understand others better. But you have to be open to that. You have to be willing to see that there is this gray area. So in terms of like what's holding you back, number one, the biggest block is that I don't think you realize how powerful of a manifester you actually are. The second thing is that you have this either or thought process that you have to expand, because when you put something to someone and you either say, tell me yes or no, you're eliminating all of the space for there to be understanding about why, or even for there to be room for it to be a maybe, right? So it's really about you opening yourself up. And when you do that, it's going to cause you to have to explore yourself in a very different way. When I said at the beginning, like, I have to kind of talk about these cards as a collection, it's really because I feel like you're embarking on what looks like and what feels like to me, a spiritual journey. And so I wouldn't be at all surprised if this video is, for some of you, one of the first tarot readings that you've watched on YouTube, or you've just started to explore and open yourself up to spirituality. If you're someone that it's not the beginning of your spiritual journey, then you might be at the point where you're really being pushed to level things up and to open yourself up to kind of the more like painful and darker aspects of spirituality that I don't think people talk about very openly. But, this is things about, like, in tarot, like if someone says they have like a tower moment or the death card, big change, things that are along the lines of like a dark night of the soul, where you get to a point in your spiritual journey where you have to realize that everything that you've thought that you have figured out, everything that you thought you knew, all the answers that you had, collected over the course of your life, you get to a point where you realize that the next thing that you have to do in your own journey, in your own spiritual development, is to question all of that and to allow yourself to have been wrong about a lot. Okay? So really heavy energy, really intense energy. I'm not going to lie and say that, that's not, I said at the very beginning, for the people that I thought this would make sense to, you probably really do feel like you are stuck, that things have become very, very hard for you. I'm going to shuffle this deck really quickly. Don't like to talk too much when I'm shuffling. You just want to show that I am shuffling. I'm going to take the top card, the bottom card. We'll do a blind cut here. I think this might be a little bit dark, guys. I'm sorry if it's gotten a little bit dark. I'm meaning the lighting, not the tone of the reading. I glanced at the monitor and it looks like the light might be a little bit dark. Okay, so we have your 3 cards here. I'm going to just turn them all over because I want to see what's going on with each of these cards, what we have coming in. So the 8 of Wands is the first card out. It's upright. Then we have the Chariot, which is reversed. And then that's the 9 of Pentacles, which is also upright. I just wanted to take a look at that. I'm going to turn this card. It's reversed. I'll put it back in reverse. I just want to show you. I just got to hit to show this illustration because that might be important to someone. I didn't want to show it upside down, so I just wanted to show this card. I'm going to put it back here. It's interesting to me. I'm drawn mostly to this card, and I'll tell you why. Sometimes with the Chariot card, when it's reversed, there is an energy that comes through that is someone kind of being at the point where they're ready to kind of throw in the towel, right? Chariot, when it's upright, is really about like continuing forward, being disciplined, being determined, having the motivation that you need to keep going. And when it's reversed, it can often feel energetically like the person who they've been doing that, they've been trying, they've been putting in the effort, they've been trying to keep themselves motivated, and they're kind of at the end of the rope where they're like, I cannot continue to do this. Guys, I don't know why this keeps looking like it's getting darker and darker. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to try to adjust it like that. There we go. That was weird. Like nothing's changing in the room. The light isn't dimming. To me in the monitor, it looks like it was getting darker. I don't want you to feel like this is a give up moment. Is what I want to talk to you about. This is really about changing directions, changing the way that you think, allowing yourself to see things differently, allowing yourself to think different, allowing yourself to change, allowing yourself to be open to a journey. Like, again, I just feel like it is about you embarking on either the initial phase of a spiritual journey for you, or about being at a point in your own spiritual journey where it's time to do the hard, dark work. Like, it's fun. It's awesome when you first get into spirituality and you're all just like love and light and crystals and spells, and it's fun, and it's something that's really, you're looking at your birth chart and you're figuring things out, and you're learning tarot. Like, that's the first part of it is fun, right? But you hit a point in that journey where it's time to do your work. And that could be where you're at. So when I say like you're beginning a journey, it could just be like you're really starting to go on the journey now, right? Like, if you imagine someone who's going to, take a trip somewhere, or they're going to do something that's a big deal, and they spend months and months and months researching things and planning things and, booking their various appointments, and then they embark on their journey, right? It doesn't mean that they've done nothing up to that point. They've done a lot up to the point, but then they actually get to go and do the journey. They get to do the work, right? So the reason I'm starting with this card is because it feels like, to me, if I look here, right, with the Eight of Wands, this is about fast change wanting to come through. With like lots of movement in your life. There's lots of change, and it's quick, right? This is wanting to come through. But then it hits this, Eight of Wands is a great card, but the Chariot reversed is more powerful. It's a major arcana card. And then energetically, I just feel all the energy is stuck right here, right? So it's almost like this becomes an energetic wall. So the Eight of Wands is trying to make this fast movement. The Chariot reverse is blocking it, right? You have to be willing to open up to going on the journey. You have to keep pushing yourself. You can't give up. You can't have this, like, you can't be uncertain about what direction you're wanting to take. You have to be clear, right? And it's removing all these blocks that we talked about. Okay. The other thing I want to mention with this Eight of Wands is it's confirmation for me that you are actually doing a lot of manifesting. You are actually creating a lot of change. You are actually like bringing things in, but it's not able to lead to what you want and what is actually wanting to come through for you, which we'll talk about with this Nine of Pentacles. Instead, it's kind of giving you like, okay, well, do you want this or this? And you're like, oh, well, I mean, if those are my only choices, I guess I want this. Okay, well, here you go. But the universe really wants to say to you, okay, I know you asked for either this or this, but here is this other thing. What do you think about this? But it can't do that for you. It can't say, what about this third option, if you are not open to a third option. And in your mind, your energy is very aligned to, yeah. And again, whenever I tune into it, I start to get like, my mind is flooded with like, I feel like I'm in grade school and they're asking, I'm studying like opposite words, right? Because it's like feast or famine, on or off, hot or cold, good or bad. It's just like these words just start like flooding in about these very extreme differences in terms of what it is that you're allowing yourself to think you can possess, or what it is that you think you can create. Okay? Now with this, I want to say the Nine of Pentacles here is, it's upright. And it's such a great card. The Nine of Pentacles is being in that place where we are really doing well. We're in a situation where we've created a life. We have, we don't have a lot of worries in our life. We've really manifested something that feels like it's fun, that we enjoy, a life that is, however you want it, right? Very often I'll say with this card, one of the things that, is true about this card is, the Nine of Pentacles in a typical tarot deck, or, the typical meaning of the card is really about having kind of like a luxurious life, right? About being in a place where, you're able to, have more than what it is that you actually need in terms of your wealth or the things that you have. And, it represents being in a place where, you've kind of made it, you're successful, right? But in my readings, I try to open myself beyond the meanings of the cards, because what I consider to be a luxurious life and what you consider to be a luxurious life could be very different, right? For some people, if they could manifest, you know, a really high-end RV that they get to spend money on renovating, and then that's what they live out of, that would be their dream life. And for other people, if they had to live even in like a really nice RV, they would hate it because they want to have a big house with a huge yard and a pool in the back, right? So when I say it's whatever life you want, it really is about being in a place where you look around and say, oh my gosh, I've manifested all of the things that I wanted. I have more than what I wanted. I have more than what I asked for. It's that, right? Fast change leading to the exact life that you want. The thing that's blocking you is the fact that you're not open to it. You're not giving yourself the chance to really believe that you're capable of manifesting what it is that you're hoping to have. Okay? So I'm going to do a little bit of shuffling with this deck. While I'm doing that, I do just want to say to you guys, as you saw at the beginning of the video, I have a website now. I just want to mention it to you again. I did promise that I would at some point mention a code for you guys. And I just want to say, if you go to my website and you use the code VIEWER, then you can get 30% off any of my readings that are on my website right now. It's keaghankurt.com. And I also just want to say to you, you know, thank you for hanging out with me if you're still listening at this point. Thanks for staying through to the end of the reading. I hope that the messages that came through for you were helpful. I hope that it did give you some insight, some things to work about. And I think, too, just some awareness of maybe things that are happening that you really just aren't aware of. Because, again, I don't feel any sort of like self-destructive, self-sabotaging sort of things where it's like you know what you're doing and you continue to do it. This really does feel like it's almost like it's operating below the system. And so having even just the awareness of, hey, maybe I do need to pay attention to whether I'm giving myself like option A or option B. I just need to pay attention to it. Just making that switch will start to turn this Chariot card so that you're actually being open. And as soon as you do, you have all of this energy that's pushing through to push you into the life that you want. So I really do hope that this was helpful. If this did help, I just want to say this here before, you know, pulling this card. Please leave a comment, let me know that you found the video and it helped you. That just it encourages me to keep going. It also just lets other people know that there are messages inside the reading that are helpful. There's so many readings on YouTube. It's just a way for people to look and see what people are saying. So please interact with the video and leave comments. Give the video a thumbs up. That's a trigger for YouTube to say, hey, they like this video. Let's show it to other people that might be interested in it. And if you're not subscribed, take a moment to subscribe to the channel if I resonated with you and you feel that our energies are a good match. Okay? So let's pull your advice or guidance card here. I always see these last cards as being an opportunity for your spirit guides or your higher self to communicate what is most needed for you to hear at this time. Do a cut. Here's your card. And Taurus, let's see what we have for you here at the end. This says, true healing occurs when I give myself permission to feel whatever feelings live below the triggers. And I think that this is a great card to have come out for you because it's kind of what I'm picking up on, in that you have to look deeper. You have to allow yourself to really stop looking at things from the perspective that you've been looking at them. Healing really happens when we are able to realize this is a trigger. Why am I triggered? What causes me to have the trigger? It's the going back to that same analogy where that I used at the very beginning about the two kids. Let's say the kid that was attacked and bitten by a dog was so young they don't remember it, right? All they know is that whenever they see a dog, they feel scared, they feel terrified, they feel like their safety is not a guarantee. But they don't know why. It's a trigger. The dog is a trigger. Why do I feel that way about dogs? You investigate. Well, when you were 3, a dog attacked you. You probably don't remember it, but it happened. Okay? Okay, that's where the healing can happen because you found that trauma. You found the core wound. You found that initial trauma that has led to you being triggered by people and situations over and over in your life. Right? So you have to be able to give yourself permission to feel whatever feelings are there. Don't label them as good or bad. Allow them to just be, right? Allow yourself to just be. Give yourself some grace, Taurus. That is, I think, the main key for you being able to get yourself unstuck. And once you do that, again, Very, very powerful with this existence card. 8 of Wands showing up here. I have no worries or concerns about you once you're able to focus your energy and your determination towards what it is that you really truly want rather than keeping yourself limited. Okay, Taurus, thank you so much. I love you guys. I'm doing weekly readings for the month of May, and so you'll be seeing me again next week with a different topic completely, and I'll see you guys then.